believe in the next few moments, I'll be able to show you exactly who Organo Gold is, but more importantly, how the Organo Gold vision and what we provide can be an enormous advantage to your organization very, very quickly by leveraging an extremely powerful fundraising program. Organo Gold is in a position to be able to provide these benefits because we are leveraging extremely powerful industries that allow you to generate funds quickly. In our company, we like to say that we're bringing the treasures of the earth to the people of the world, and that we are the right business at the right time. And that's because of our product, because it's easy, it's simple, it's coffee. Let's jump ahead and talk about 4 fast-growing industries that we're able to leverage that allows you and your organization to be able to make money very, very quickly. In the health and wellness, I believe it is extremely apparent and very obvious that we're becoming a much more health-conscious society. And this is extremely apparent when you look at the segment of the population that we call the baby boomers. I remember when I was younger, when we looked at people who were, in their senior years, they seemed to be slower and perhaps even, somewhat feeble. But those times have changed dramatically. And we see people that are in their late 50s, 60s, and 70s that are healthy and they're vibrant and they want to live, and enjoy their lives more than perhaps their counterparts from years ago. And for that reason, the baby boomers are spending billions and billions of dollars every year to support their ability to live a vibrant life. And we'll talk more about how we play into that industry. And of course, we play into the home-based business arena, and there's extreme leverage there, which again, we'll be able to discuss that a little bit further on. But it really has to do with sort of the recurring cycles of what happens once people start to do fundraisers with us. Then, of course, there's the internet, and this comes into play in a couple of ways. The first is Organo Gold provides to those who are doing a fundraiser with us. You have an internet-facing presence that allows you, one, to be able to sort of manage the back office of what's happening with the fundraiser from, the standpoint of a product that is ordered and shipping and things like that, but also to be able to extend your fundraising efforts beyond your local geography. And that means that you can, communicate with folks in other cities, in other states, and even in other countries, and allow them to support your fundraising efforts by being able to place orders directly to you through your website. And then, of course, there's our flagship products, and the key component of that is, of course, is our coffee. And so let's talk about why coffee makes so much sense. And I'm sure if you've had the responsibility of raising funds before, you're certainly aware that there are any number of different things that can be done to raise funds. But then we're talking about fundraisers where the organization is lucky to get 5, 10, 15, maybe even 20%. And oftentimes, let's be honest, it's for products or things that people aren't necessarily really interested in. It's not things that they need, but they're doing something, to support the cause, to support the organization, perhaps just to support you. But when we talk about coffee, we're talking about something that is completely woven into the social fabric of the world, quite frankly. So let's talk about some interesting things about coffee and why it becomes the perfect play from a fundraising perspective. First is to note that coffee is the second highest consumed beverage in the world after water. It's also the second highest traded commodity in the world after oil. And in North America alone, 500 million cups of coffee are consumed every day. And therefore, we know that 80% of Americans over the age of 18 all drink coffee. And essentially, of the 225 million coffee drinkers in this country, that the amount that they spend, the frequency of which they drink coffee, is increasing. And what's important about that? That even now, during what people may be saying are tough economic times, people are not cutting back on their coffee. As a matter of fact, the coffee industry and spending on coffee is increasing. And so what we're talking about is something that is completely recession-proof and allows you that additional leverage. Because as things have gotten tighter for organizations, there have been cutbacks. Perhaps organizations that were supported by external funds, those funds have either been reduced or eliminated. And so now the burden of being able to find ways to raise money, raise it very quickly, and with high leverage is now much more needed. And that's why we play into this so wonderfully. But then there's also this sort of distinguishing factor that we have with our coffee. This isn't just any old, discount coffee. We are talking about a delicious gourmet coffee along with our teas and our hot chocolates. that people will enjoy. But then there's that added benefit, and that is the health benefit that people get from using our products, which is the reason why we say that we play into health and wellness. And that is because our products are infused with what's called 100% certified organic Ganoderma lucidum. And if you're like me, when we started with this organization, had no idea what that meant or what it was. But if you would just take a few moments and just Google Ganoderma, you will get over 3 million hits back. And it'll talk about the power of this herb and what it can do for the body. And then you can do what we call play the Ganoderma game, which means go to Google, put in Ganoderma, and then add just about any ailment that you can think about. And you'll find there's a 95% chance that something has been written about it. And then we're not just talking about random contributions on the internet. We're talking about now how there are more and more medical studies that are being done to talk about the benefit of Ganoderma and what it does to the human body. So now we're able to offer to people something that they were going to do anyway and allow them to get this additional health benefit. What you will find is as people begin to experience the product for themselves, they will be able to speak to you personally about not just the great taste of these products, but how it's making them feel. Organo Gold is very proud of the process by which the Ganoderma is grown, harvested, and processed. Therefore, it's been added to our product, but you can't see it, taste it, or smell it. And as you'll see here on this slide, that we hold a number of certifications, and actually there's many more now that have recently been added, that speaks to the process for how all of this is done. So there's a lot of quality and integrity that comes behind these products. And so now let's talk about the full line of what it is that Organo Gold has to offer. For people who don't drink coffee, tea, or hot chocolate, we do have the product in nutraceutical form. But there's our cafe mocha, the cafe latte, our black, our hot chocolate, the cafe supreme, green tea, what we call the king of coffee. There's even a toothpaste and a soap. And then you'll notice right in the middle of this slide, you'll see Jamaica Blue Mountain, which has been judged to be the finest coffee in the world. And so we have a unique partnership with Jamaica Blue Mountain where we have their coffee combined with our Ganoderma spores. Organo Gold is privileged to have visionary and experienced leadership through our VP of Sales, Mr. Holton Bugs, Bernie Chua, who's the gentleman who actually figured out the process and had the vision for how to bring these Ganoderma-infused products into the U.S., and then Shane Moran, who has decades of experience in direct sales and marketing. So that's enough of the background. Let's talk about how you raise money quickly with the Organo Gold fundraising program. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you how to start your own healthier coffee fundraiser. And we're doing this for the benefit of organizations to be able to raise funds for teams, groups, nonprofits, and educational causes. And here's how you get started. The first is to choose a campaign organizer, someone who's going to help manage this entire program from inside your organization and from working with our folks as well. Then determine your financial goals. Exactly how much money do you want to raise? The next thing you do is determine when the fundraiser is going to start and, of course, when it's going to end. You want to know the number of people who are going to be helping to sell the product, and then you want to secure the forms for everyone to be able to go out and collect their orders. And then you want to complete and review the nonprofit free sign-up form or DBA form. And what that means is that if you are a nonprofit organization with the proper tax credentials, then you are able to participate in this program for free. If you happen to be a for-profit organization that's still doing fundraising, then you're able to join the program for a nominal cost of $49. Then you want to promote the fundraiser. And there's a couple ways to do that. I'm certain at this point you probably already have a regular means of communicating with your constituents and supporters. But we also recommend a couple of other ways to do that to make sure that you get the word out. And one of the ways to do that is to actually have a coffee tasting. That's right, where you get some product in advance, but then allow the people who will be, sort of promoting your fundraiser, as well as some of your key supporters, to come together in a very low-key event, but give them the opportunity to experience the product. And that will sort of light fire to the whole event, because then people are able to go at it with much more conviction because they've experienced the product, they know how great it tastes, and they know how well it makes them feel. And then it's just the GTC to get the cash, check, or the credit card. So let's talk about some examples of exactly how powerful this program can be. On one of the previous slides, I showed you an entire array of all of our products. But in order for you to have the greatest success very, very quickly, and for you to really maximize your effort, our suggestion is that you focus on the black coffee, the latte, and then if you want to add in the green tea and the hot chocolate, then great. But if you focus on these areas, it's really going to help to streamline your effort, help to simplify the way that you approach people, and allow them to be able to make decisions and supporting you very quickly and a lot easier. So now let's just see the power of the numbers. The wholesale price of a box of coffee is $17, and that box gets sold for $30. So that means that there is a profit of $13 for every box of coffee. But let's talk about why this makes so much sense. Each box of coffee contains 30 sachets or packets, which will make one serving of excellent gourmet coffee. So this means that essentially your supporters are able to experience this product for about $1 a cup, which means that now you're asking them to support you for a very, very nominal charge. I mean, we are right in the sweet spot in terms of cost and way ahead of the curve when we talk about taste and benefit to the body. And so for just about $1 a cup, you're able to offer your supporters something that they were probably going to do anyway, and something that's going to be good for them. So now let's just run out the numbers here. You'll notice something right away in the second column under the average boxes sold per participant. And the number is very low, and it's because we always want to be able to keep our feet on the ground. And then where you're able to do better, then do better. We know that some people and other fundraisers, you know, with cookies or others, can sell hundreds, if not thousands of boxes. And hopefully you have some of those superstars in your organization as well. But if you had just 25 people who sold 5 boxes each, that's a total of 125 boxes. That would raise $1,625 profit. 50 participants selling 5 boxes is 250 boxes for $3,250. But let's say you had 200 participants selling just 5 boxes. That's 1,000 boxes and $13,000 in profit. So again, as you can see, we are talking about something that is extremely profitable. We believe that the number of 5 boxes per participant is very, very low. People should very easily be able to sell 10, 20, 30, or 50 boxes themselves. And again, once people are able to experience the product, it gets so much easier, and you're going to see your organization being able to raise a lot more funds. Here are some additional hints to support your fundraiser being an absolute success. The first is to know the purpose and goals of your organization's fundraiser and be able to communicate that to the people that you're asking to support you. The other is to always remain positive, polite, and always smile. And be thankful to everyone, whether they purchase product from you or not. And one of the other things to think about is that if you really believe in what you're doing, and you believe it's the right thing, it's a good thing, it's a helpful thing, then this should be enjoyable. And one other tip that I want to throw in, if it be at all possible for your organization to allow some of the people who are going to be, out there with the sign-up sheets, getting people to support, is to build your fundraiser the way that we build our business, which is through samples. So maybe it's possible for folks who participate to actually kind of go ahead and they purchase that first box of coffee, but with the intention of sampling other folks, because that's how we build our business. We build our business by samples. We want people to experience the product. And that way, you're not really selling. People know exactly what they're getting. And again, it was probably something they were going to do anyway. But even without that, if you have a great cause and you approach folks, you should be able to have a very, very successful fundraiser. And the next steps are really simple. And that is to fill out the nonprofit application form, print out the order forms that will be found in your back office once you do that, and then organize your efforts, and start making money. In order to get started, simply refer back to the person who sent you this information, or you can contact us directly at the information found on your screen.